Pakistan will privatize all state-owned enterprises, whether they are in profit or in losses, only exception on strategic entities. Islamabad has listed 25 entities and assets on its privatization list. The announcement came a day after an International Monetary Fund mission opened talks in Islamabad for a new long-term extended fund facility. Privatization of loss-making entities has long been on the IMF's list of recommendations for Pakistan, which is struggling with a high fiscal shortfall and a huge external financial gap. Violent protests and a shutter-down strike in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir came to a halt following Islamabad's announcement of immediate grant of 23 billion to address demands for fair electricity pricing and subsidized wheat flour. However, the people of POK continue to struggle due to skyrocketing inflation. They still hope of justice and autonomy and future free from exploitation. And violent protests and a shutter-down strike in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir POK came to a halt following Islamabad's announcement of immediate grant of 23 billion to address demands for fair electricity pricing and subsidized wheat flour. Now, joining me on the broadcast is S.R. Tayal, former senior diplomat from New Delhi. Sir, a very warm welcome to the show. Now, let me start with a quote by the Pak Prime Minister. All of the state-owned enterprises will be privatized, whether they are in profit or in losses. Coming this from the Prime Minister of a country whose economy is in shambles, how do you assess this and what implications would it have on the economy of this country?
Pakistan's economy is in dire straits. They have already, since 1958, 22 times they have gone to IMF for different types of loans. Last year they got $3 billion of loan. Now they want extended funding facility, which could be of the order of about $20–25 billion. And whenever IMF extends its loans, it puts conditionalities.
Okay.
Because they want long-term solutions for Pakistan's economy. And these quick fixes will not work. And one of their major demands is privatization of the state enterprises, which are a drain on the economy. So if Pakistan wants the IMF extended facility credit, without which its economy will collapse, because it will not have foreign exchange for even very essential imports. They have foreign exchange, but about only $3 billion, which is maybe just for 1 month or 2 months of imports. So what they will do, they will promise, but what I suspect is that they will promise a lot to IMF, but as in the past, they will perhaps not do too much. They have raised the energy tariffs, and that's why we saw in Pakistan, occupied Kashmir, there's a lot of demonstration against that. But their economy is in dire straits, and if they want IMF
so
money,
they have promised a lot, but they will they have promised a lot, but they will not live up to it. That's what you're trying to say. All right. Privatization will take place barring strategic entities, but it's not yet clear in Shahbaz Sharif's statement whether which sectors would be deemed strategic and non-strategic. But former privatization minister Fawad Hassan Fawadi said that any organization that is involved in purely commercial work can't be strategic by its very nature, which means there can't be any strategic commercial SOEs.
Yes, this is now a statement in principle, and then there will be detailing, and apparently the number of state-owned enterprises in Pakistan is very, very high, and almost 30–35% of the GDP is perhaps contributed by them. But they are loss-making units, they are not adding to employment, and they are a drain on the wider economy. And of course, IMF believes in privatization, but sometimes their prescriptions are also very much opposed by the people of the countries where IMF gives loans. So the government of Pakistan will have to do a very fine balancing. so that IMF also is satisfied that Pakistan is doing enough and keeps on extending loans, whereas the conditionalities, whether it is the rise in the prices of energy, whether it is privatization of state-owned enterprises, because it has impact on employment, and lot of people may lose jobs, and there is also a demand by IMF that Pakistan should raise taxes. Their tax to GDP ratio is just about 10.3%, whereas the Asia Pacific ratio is about 20%. So there will have to take some very difficult steps.
Yeah, I understand.
To come out of this economic morass.
All right, we leave it there. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us. I appreciate you joining us on the broadcast.
Thank you.
Well, in a recent spat between the US and China, Beijing has vowed to resolutely defend its interests in the face of huge